Om Agyantanimidandasya Gyananjana Sharakaya Chakshurumritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manuvishtam Swapita Nina Bhutare Ayam Rupagadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sriyuta Prakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Sajivam Advaitam Savadrutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakam Tamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Namastyate Shatarine Pancha Karpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahamadayaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauravishe Namaha Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodido Gradai Pushpavantra Darshandatamo He Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Bhupisha, Bhupika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostate, Jayatam Shruto Pangur, Mama Mandir Madhegati, Vatsarvasam Patam Bhoja, Radha Madana Mohanu, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Stuti Devi, Pranamami Hari Pre, Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namine Shri Shri Krishna Saya Paramananda Dayane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for being here, giving me the opportunity to serve you. Today is a very wonderfully auspicious day, Advaita Acharya's appearance day. So, um, though it is, it would be wonderful to hear from Prem Bardana Prabhu, but somehow or other, uh, he asked me to speak. So, it's Advaita Acharya's mercy on me, and I pray that he empowers me to speak something that will be pleasing to all of you, because his compassion and mercy is so great. I don't think a fallen soul like me can do justice to speak something, but I'm praying and I'm trying my best. So, with your blessings, please bestow on me something. Something can happen. The Vaishnava's mercy is life breath. Please consider blessing me. Everyone can hear okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. So let me see. We will share the screen. I tried to put together some little slides. We'll see how it works.
Very well.
I new to that thing. So here we go. Yes. Jai. We'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:15:41. That's the right verse, right, Prabhu?
That's right, Prabhu, correct.
Jai. Okay. So we're still on Yudhisthira, the Pandavas timely leaving for the spiritual world. I think the name of the chapter exactly, but they're wrapping up their pastimes. Krishna has left. Arjuna came back. Yudhisthira was in anxiety. What was happening? Where's Arjuna? Arjuna came, explained everything. Now they're like, okay, time for us to leave also. So he's, if I remember correctly, he put, he made all arrangements for the kingdom to be taken care of, and they went to the forest. So this is kind of one of the verses that is talking about how Yudhisthira Maharaj is preparing to leave his body, you could say. So I'll chant, and anybody who wants to continue can. Simple. Pacham, pacham uhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mritya apana sotsargam tam panchatvehi ajo hivit pacham uhava pacham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mritya apanam sotsargam tam panchatvehi ajo hivit cham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mritya apanam sotsargam tam panchatvehi ajo hivit. Any devotees want to chant, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We'll give it a try.
Hmm?
Vacham bhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mrityavapanam sotsargam tam panchatvehi ajohavit. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. I can give it a try, Prabhuji. Vacham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mrutyavapanam sotsargam tam parichatvehi ajo vahit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I want to give it a try, Prabhu. Vacham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mrityavapanam shotsargam tam panchatvehi ajo havet. Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'll give it a try. So thank you. Vacham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mrityavapanam sotsargam tam panchatve hiyajo havit. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Speeches. Yuva relinquished. Manasi, into the mind. Tat, prane, mind, into breathing. Itare cha, other senses also. Tam, into that. Mrityo, into death. Apanam, breathing. Sa, utsargam, with all dedication. Tam, that. Panchatve, into the body made of 5 elements. He, certainly. Ajo, havit, amalgamated into. Verse, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into the mind, and the mind into life, life into breathing, his total existence into the embodiment of the 5 elements, and his body into death. Then, as pure self, he became free from the material conception of life. Purport. Maharaj Yudhisthira, like his brother Arjuna, began to concentrate and gradually became free from all material bondage. First, he concentrated all the actions of the senses and amalgamated them into the mind. Or in other words, he turned his mind toward the transcendental service of the Lord. He prayed that since all material activities are performed by the mind in terms of action and reaction of the material senses, and since he was going back to Godhead, the mind would wind up its material activities and be turned towards the transcendental service to the Lord. There was no longer a need for material activities. Actually, the activities of the mind cannot be stopped, for they are the reflections of the eternal soul. But the quality of the activities can be changed from matter to the transcendental service to the Lord. The material color of the mind is changed when one washes it from contaminations of life breathing, and thereby frees it from the contamination of repeated births and deaths, and situates it in pure spiritual life. And all is manifested by the temporary embodiment of the material body, which is a production of the mind at the time of death. The mind is purified by practice, devotional, loving service to the Lord, and is constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. There's no more chance of the mind's producing another material body after death. It will be freed from absorption and material contamination. The pure soul will be able to return back home to Godhead. Back to Godhead. Sorry. The pure soul will be able to return home back to Godhead. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. He so amalgamated means to like become one, like merge everything together, from what I understand. So few things that just pop out. All is manifested by the temporary, talking about the mind's activities, and how the mind, if we utilize our mind properly, is the main point. Where is it here? Actually, the activities of the mind cannot be stopped, for they are reflections of the eternal soul. The mind always going to be acting, and we should thus direct it for the service of the Lord. That the mind, through our material desires, throughout our lives, it produces the next body. Srila Prabhupada is pointing out here is that if we no longer have material desires, then the mind won't produce another material body. So I think I've said many times, one of the goals of our sadhana is to catch the mind, keep the mind focused on Krishna, so that it will no longer create more material desires. When we have no more material desires, then we only have spiritual desires. And as we cultivate our spiritual relationship, we go back, we go to the spiritual world, or rather, it's sometimes Prabhupada would say back to Godhead means to be Krishna conscious even within this body. It can also mean to go to the spiritual world as well. But we'll talk about that a bit later. So I was looking at a class that Srila Prabhupada gave on December 19th in 1973 in LA on this verse. I just made some points that he was pointing out through this throughout this chapter. throughout this verse. Kind of similar along with the purport, but I thought it'd be nice to, it's not, some of these are his exact words and some are just kind of like notes. I'm gonna briefly speak on some things. So this verse, pretty technical. It's talking about the yogic process of controlling the 5 kinds of air. It's like air breathing exercises. They merge the airs all together, and there's different airs, the apana and the prana, and they do different things within the body. Srila Prabhupada was talking about the importance of control. A yogi knows how to control when he leaves the body. Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita. And he says that it appears that Yudhishthira Maharaj knew this science. The yogis, they know how to give up the body at a specific time. He gave the example of Bhishma Dev laying on a bed of arrows. He gave up his life at a certain time when he desired, not due to the influence of the modes of material nature or influence of time, but he could control the life airs in such a way that he could leave his body. And he left at a very wonderful time. Krishna was right there. He was looking right at Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explained that it was a benediction from his father, but he was able to choose the time he left, because the story of Bhishma, his father wanted to marry one lady, that princess, that the princess's father didn't want him to marry her because their child wouldn't be the next king, because Bhishma Dev was the oldest. Bhishma Dev, so that his father could enjoy the company of this lady, decided to take a vow of brahmacharya, and that he would never get married and thus never have kids, so that they could be like that. So his father was so happy, he gave him some benediction. But that's not the glory of Bhishma Dev. The glory of Bhishma Dev is that everything he did for the pleasure of Krishna. Throughout his life, he was a great devotee of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada continues that if you can control your mind, you can control your words. We have a mind, we have a body, we have ability to talk. What's the use of using all these things if we don't use them in the service of Krishna? The mind, the body, the words. This Harikatha is so powerful. It says in that class that by speaking Harikatha, hearing Harikatha, one becomes pious. So if we don't have devotional credits to engage in intense bhakti in this life, we hear Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha purifies the heart and makes one. It not only purifies the heart, you become pious. You get some pious spirit, and then one can engage more and more in the process of Krishna bhakti. He said to talk about Krishna, chant his holy names, because the yoga process is meant to control the senses. That's the real purpose. Senses must be controlled, sense activity can't be stopped, as he says in the purport, but they must be purified. First the mind, then the senses. So by engaging the mind and hearing and remembering Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, these different things, hearing about them, and when we can speak about them, it helps to focus the mind. And when the mind is focused on Krishna, then our words can also be focused on Krishna. And when we're absorbed in Krishna, then we're not absorbed in trying to fulfill the desires of the senses. The bhakti yoga means to not artificially control the mind and senses. That would be a failure. He gave the example of Vishnu and Muni. Doing severe austerities. He had great control over his senses until Menaka came. When Menaka came, he was completely bewildered. There's another sage, I forget his name, but he was sitting in the bottom under the water doing meditation for all time, just sitting there under the water. He could control his life breath to such an extent that he could live under the water for an extended period of time, meaning like years and years and years. Knowing these rishis and sages and yogis are talked about within the Srimad Bhagavatam and the different Puranas, this could be millions of years or thousands of years he's living under the water. That is some serious sense control. But as soon as he saw two fish mating, a desire came in his heart that I think I want to get married too. So he came out of the water, got some wives, and did like this. So Srila Prabhupada is stressing that is not an artificial control of the mind. Bhakti yoga means to control the senses through devotional service. So he gives the example of Ambarish Maharaj. He controlled his mind and senses through Bhakti yoga. So engage the mind and senses in Krishna's service. So Ambarish Maharaj, he was always utilizing all of his activities. He's famous in the Srimad Bhagavatam as performing all 9 processes of devotional service. And he was such a devotee that, when he was fasting at one time, Durvas Muni came. Durvas Muni is known for having a very hot temper, and during the fast, he had, right when the fast breaking was supposed to happen, Durvas Muni came, and the last possible second, he took 1 drop of water to break the fast, so that it would. And his fast wasn't for his own karma, and it was for the people. He was doing it as a service, not only to please Krishna, for the benefit of all of the citizens, so that they could be peaceful, and engage in the service of the Lord nicely, not having to worry about this or that. So he and Durvas Muni was so angry, he chased him for. No, he tried to kill him, but Krishna, Lord Vishnu appeared with as Sudarshan Chakra. He chased Durvas Muni all over the place, all over the world, all over the universe, all the different planetary systems, and finally he had to come and beg forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj. So Ambarish is celebrated as a wonderful, wonderful Vaishnava, so dedicated. So like that, we engage our senses in the service of Krishna. If it diverts, it will divert. I think Prabhupada is making the point that it will divert, because we know we're trying to practice and it keeps diverting. But you practice and Krishna will help you. So in the beginning, hear everything about Krishna. God is in your heart. When he sees that this person is sincere to know me, he will help. God himself is there. He's in our heart. He's already here, and he knows what our desires are. God himself is there, and he understands this living entity is serious to know about me. He will help you immediately. And he quoted this Bhagavad Gita verse, Tesham satata yuktanam rajatam kriti purvakam. So by, this, he immediately gives us the help when we have a sincere heart. So Srila Prabhupada is talking about the 9 processes of devotional service, and now hearing and chanting are the primary limbs of the 9 processes. But one must be attentive. He was saying, don't sleep in class. He was talking about sleeping in class. And, sometimes you see the devotees, and we may experience it ourselves. We become sleepy while somebody's speaking Harikatha. And as soon as Harikatha is done, we're like, oh, very nice. All happy, and we have energy. But as soon as Harikatha or we sit for our japa, we become sleepy. We just want to nap. So, this type of hearing is not going to do this type of hearing is going to not bring about the desired result. We have to be enthusiastic in our hearing. So if anyone who wants to read up on all of the wonderful points Srila Prabhupada spoke on this verse here, these are just some of the points that I picked out. So this hearing process, when we hear attentively, and if you see here, I highlighted this this in red up in the word for word, sa utsargam, with all dedication. I didn't notice it in the translation here, but to me it made it was real important point, because without dedication, whatever we do in this world, it doesn't make it, we can't accomplish with what we want without some dedication. So the process of bhakti also requires dedication, that we're dedicated to hearing and chanting um, with great enthusiasm, um, with attention, action. So when Lord Chaitanya was about to speak the various the 8 Shikshastika verses, he opened with this Anjalila 20.11 verse. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is a means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna, prema. And then he spoke the Chaita Darpana Marjanam, that the heart becomes cleansed by this kirtan process. This is what we want, love for Krishna. This of engaging in the process of bhakti isn't to be freed from material desires, or to be freed from the reactions of our previous sinful activities. It's not to become liberated. It's not for artha, karma, dharma, moksha, for these religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, liberation. These things, they're like broken pieces of glass compared to the wealth of prema, love, that the holy name that Krishna is willing to give us by the process of devotional service. He's willing to give his whole self. Why would we want any of these other things? So how do we get this love for Krishna? We hear and we chant with all determination. We have no other shelter outside of bhakti. We're attentive. There's so many other processes that are described that we can take shelter of. The yoga process, the jnana process, the karma process. There's just trying to enjoy just whatever. I'll just eat, drink, and be merry. Srila Prabhupada used that all the time. Just whatever we want to do, eat, drink, and be merry. That's the slogan at some point. But this eat, drink, and be merry, this only creates suffering. That the various activities of this material world, they create suffering. When we're bound by the dictations of mind and the senses, it may seem like nectar in the beginning, but it turns to poison in the end. But that which seems like poison in the beginning is becoming nectar in the end. Srila Rupa Goswami gives this kind of parallel in the Upadeshamrita, where he says that, when one is afflicted by the jaundice of ignorance, when one chants the holy name or hears Krishna's katha, when you hear Krishna katha, it's like 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 one who has jaundice. They taste sugar candy and it's very bitter taste. Very, I don't want to taste it. Yuck. Tastes bad. But when one is healthy and they taste sugar candy, it's very sweet. So when the jaundice of ignorance is relieved, when you're relieved from the jaundice of ignorance, then Krishna Katha and Krishna Nam tastes sweet like nectar. And this Harinam is so wonderful that simply by chanting it, one is relieved from this ignorance, from this jaundice, with care and dedication, with care and consistency. So we don't take any shelter. We may fall, we will get up. And again, just like a child who's trying to walk or learning to write. I like these two examples because when a child's learning to walk, they're always falling down and getting up, falling down, getting up, right? Like that, right? They just fall down and say, I'm falling, I can't get up. Then they will never learn to walk. Or if, writing is all weird and looks funny and can't read anything, but with the patience of the teacher and the parent, it's teaching them to continue and they become great poets and write things like Srimad Bhagavatam and, other wonderful literatures of pure bhakti. So we continue on, and we don't take shelter of anything else but the process of bhakti. We hear attentively. Srila Prabhupada gave this example of sleepy hearing. It just won't cut it. Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 2, 17, and 18, the desire to hear, the urge to hear his message. We have to have this eagerness, not lazy. And when we have this urge to hear, then all the knots in the heart are almost completely destroyed. There's still a little tinges, but we're on the path of Nishta, and soon Ruchi and the Shakti and Bhava will come. So when I think of determination, there's many personalities that come to mind, Srila Prabhupada included, but one person is Advaita Acharya. And today is his appearance day, so we'll speak a little bit about Advaita Prabhu. We'll recite of these 3 introductory verses from the 6th chapter of Adi Leela, texts 4, 5, and 6. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord of the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Sri Advaita Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living beings. Being an ordinary living being, I can't even begin to comprehend his wonderful and merciful activities that he performed in this world. But with the mercy of Hari, with the mercy of my Guru Dev, hearing his classes and associating with the devotees and hearing from the devotees, we have some understanding. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wonderfully explained Vrindavan Das Thakur wonderfully explained Advaita Acharya's pastimes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, respectively. So many wonderful pastimes. He was born most beautiful. It charmed the heart of everyone who saw him. His eyes were like lotuses. I can remember correctly, it was Kamalakshana, his name, his birth name. When he was younger, his parents left. He was doing lots of pilgrimage, went to Vrindavan, and he found vision. Madan Gopal came to him and said, I'm in the Ganga, I'm in the Jamuna, come get me and serve me. And he came and he, found him, dug down and found him in the, I think it was the Jamuna. And that Madan Gopal Didi became Madan Mohan later and was worshipped by Sanatana Goswami. He originally found, and then he had a calling in his heart to go to Navadvip because the Lord will perform his pastimes there. So he left Madan Gopal with a Brahmana there in Vrindavan and went to Navadvip. And in Navadvip, he was the leader of all the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. At some point, he met with Haridas Thakur and they became very great friends. He had many disciples. Advaitacharya had many disciples all over the Bengal region, near Nadia, Navadvip. And he was like a lion roaring the holy name. He was so enthusiastic. He was had so much love, prem flowing from him, compassion flowing from him, so much compassion that he looked around and said, this age of Kali is so bad. It's like the only person who can free these people from material. Because though Navadvip was the high seat of learning, there was nobody would speak the name of Krishna. They would have big, elaborate wedding ceremonies for, I think it was said like for the cats and the dogs or something like that. It was like they were spending lavish amounts of money on, materialistic things. That the philosophy was being spoken from a impersonal or karma kind of material point of view, not knowing the essence of prem bhakti. So he was looking around and he's thinking, what? How are they going to be freed from all of this material mind thought? And he said, only if Krishna himself comes. So he began to pray. You see the picture is offering Ganga water and tulsi leaf to a Shaligram Shila day I think it was from sunrise to sunset. He was offering and praying, begging the Lord to come so that people like us in Kali Yuga have no qualifications. Many of us have not good birth, but the mercy of Advaitacharya was such that he wanted the Supreme Lord, Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, the original personality of Godhead, Parama Ishvara, Shvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Adya, the Adi, original personality of Godhead. Please come and deliver these people in Kali Yuga. It's like so much compassion, begging. On the full moon night of the month of Magh coming up soon, Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared. His desire was fulfilled. That day, as the full moon came, it was also an eclipse. Everybody was chanting the holy names. In Navadvip, he was in Shantipur with Haridas Thakur, and they were seeing everybody was chanting. They were ecstatic. This is something is happening. Everybody is chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with so much feeling. They were ecstatic. He knew that Krishna had appeared that day. He sent his wife Sita Thakurani with some gifts, give to Sachimata. But Lord Chaitanya, as he grew, he hid himself from the devotees. When they saw him, they were like, "How come feel so much love? Same love we feel for Krishna, we have for this Nimai." But Nimai was displaying a pastime of wrestling by um, lots of times he would like to argue. So sometimes the devotees, they don't like to argue. They just want to hear and chant about Krishna. You would try to philosophically argue with them. With Advaita Acharya, because Advaita was so much older. He's like 50 something years older than Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu was a young boy, he was already like, in his 60s or something. So he was always very respectful. But as he got older, Mahaprabhu would come to fetch his brother Vishwarup. Vishwarup was a great Vaishnava, and he loved to be in the association of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, being the leader of the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, they would all day hear and chant. Vishwarup would be there, and Nimai would come in, and everyone would stop and just look at Nimai. He'd say, Nimai in his little kid voice, "Come, Mata's calling. It's time for lunch." And then the Vaishnava, what are we doing? Just absorbed in this Nimai. One day, when Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit, Gauranga, one day went to Gaya, came back as a Vaishnav. He was just, no one you could even understand the love, the ecstatic symptoms. He would just weep in love for Krishna, and they were chanting, hearing. Advaita Acharya, the other Vaishnavas were so ecstatic. Nimai Pandit has become a Vaishnav. But Advaita, because Lord Chaitanya was younger, he would show him respect. Because Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu, he would also, offer his pranams as like that. And Advaita Acharya became a little bit frustrated at times because he's won't allow me to serve him. I want to serve him. I know he's a Supreme Lord. One time, Lord Chaitanya, as a young man, came with Gadadhar Pandit to the house of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, he lived between Navadvip and Shantipur. And when Lord Chaitanya started, the Sankirtan movement, when he became a devotee, showing that the process of prem bhakti through the chanting of the holy name, Advaita was in Shantipur. And Lord Chaitanya called, he sent, I think it was Ramai Pandit, go to Shantipur and bring Advaita. Tell him that who he called for all those days has come and wants to receive service from him, something like that. So when he came, there was Ramai Pandit. He said, "What?" He came. He said, "You have some message for me?" I know. What is your message?" And he told him. He said, "Okay, I'll come, but I'm going to go to Nandanacharya's house," because he wanted to test Lord Chaitanya. I think he wanted to prove to everybody that Lord Chaitanya knew past, present, and future. that he came to Nandacharya's house. He said, but Ramai Pandit, don't tell anybody where I am. You go to Lord Chaitanya and see what Lord Chaitanya says. So as soon as he went, Lord Chaitanya said, Ramai, go get Advaita from Nandacharya's house and bring him here. Tell him not to hide any longer. He brought his whole family. He had a house also in Navadvip, in the same area as Srivas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya's parents' house. So they had so many wonderful pastimes there in Navadvip, chanting all day and all night. They'd have all night kirtans, all day kirtans. Kirtan was their every moment activity. Advaitacharya. Oh, so when Lord Chaitanya came one time with Gadadhar Pandit, he said, he saw Advaitacharya very enthusiastic, with so much devotion, worshiping, is doing his puja for the deity. Lord Chaitanya fell unconscious. And as soon as he saw Lord Chaitanya fell unconscious, Advaita Prabhu turned and started performing all of the puja to Lord Chaitanya, offering tulsi leaves dipped in sandalwood paste to his lotus feet, offering garlands and flowers and dupe and deep and everything. And Gadadhar was confused. He's thinking, what? Advaita, you're so much senior. Why are you worshiping this young boy? He said, how long will you think that he is just a young boy? He said that at that moment, Gadadhar Pandit realized that Lord Chaitanya was Krishna himself. These are all hidden pastimes. Gadadhar Pandit is Sri Shakti. He is Srimati Radharani. And Lord Chaitanya is Radha Krishna Nayanya, the combined form. Advaitacharya is Mahavishnu, as we read earlier, but he's also Sadashiva. So the beginning, Lord Shiva, also destroys. So Advaitacharya is like the creation and the destruction all together. Somehow they all, for Leela, hid all these different aspects of themselves to show the behavior of devotees with each other. So Advaita became very frustrated that Lord Chaitanya, he would always try to touch Lord Chaitanya's feet, but Lord Chaitanya was so much stronger and younger than him, so he always was able to run away, and he would always grab the feet of Advaita. And he became very upset at times, and one time he left Navadvip because he was like, Lord Chaitanya won't let me serve him. He keeps treating me like a senior. I'm just going to leave. He went back to Shantipur and he said, how can I get Lord Chaitanya to accept me as his servant? And he came up with a good idea. He decided that he was going to preach impersonalism. So he started teaching, I think it was from the Yoga Vashishta. He couldn't preach to the Vaishnavas, so he had to recruit new people. So he started bringing in new people from Shantipur, and he started speaking on the philosophy of impersonalism. Haridas Thakur was there, and he would just laugh because he knew the heart. They were like best friends. Advaitacharya loved Haridas Thakur so much that when he did one of the Shraddha ceremonies, the first offering of the Mahaprasad was given to the most prestigious, the most highest, the most qualified Brahmana. And he gave that to Haridas Thakur, the first remnants of Mahaprasad. When there was all these other Brahmins, big, like, learned Brahmanas there, he gave to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was born in a Malecha family, from a Muslim family. So for the Brahmanas, the caste Brahmanas, to see that, they were insulted. But Haridas Thakur was such a devotee, Namacharya. He was chanting 192 rounds a day. He still had time to preach and everything, and hear Harikatha. He was not sleepy in japa. He was very enthusiastic, and they would hear and chant together all the time. They had so much love for each other. So he knew Advaita's heart. He was laughing. Advaita was talking about things like the, impersonalism is like a mirror. No, bhakti is like a mirror, and impersonalism is like the eye. What's the point of a mirror without an eye? Like that. He said all sorts of crazy things that in our Vaishnava tradition or in our bhakti tradition we don't believe in. But he wanted to get Mahaprabhu's attention, so he was speaking like this. And Lord Chaitanya heard, so he said, Nityananda Prabhu, let's go to Shantipur and visit Advaitacharya. So they went. They met. Some things happened on the way, but for the sake of time, we'll just stick to Advaitacharya's pastime. So he shows up there, and he says to Advaita, he saw Mahaprabhu coming, so he started with more enthusiasm, preaching in person with him. And so he said, and Mahaprabhu, Advaita, I have a question for you. He said, yeah, how much Shakti, Advaita? What is your question? He said, of the two, impersonalism and bhakti, or personalism, which of the two is higher? And he said, from now and all time, or something like that, personalism is always above personalism. Lord Chaitanya started beating him. He would say, you called me from the ocean of milk. I was sleeping in the ocean of milk. You called me down here to deliver the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, and you're preaching in personalism. You're destroying my body. He's whacking him. Sita Thakurani was, oh, he's an old man. Stop, please, stop beating him. He's an old man. He will kill him. He says, I will not kill him. He was ecstatic. Advaitacharya was so ecstatic. He was just, Nityananda Prabhu was laughing. He was ecstatic. And then Lord Chaitanya said, Advaita, why? And he says, you have accepted me as your servant. Today, you have accepted me. Everybody will know now Advaita is Gauranga Mahaprabhu's servant. Where is all of your foot touching now? And Lord Chaitanya, Gauranga Nimai became very, very embarrassed. And he said, Advaita, please know that you are so dear to me that you called me here. I came on your order, your desire. There is no one as dear to me as you. Time going back some time, Vishwarup, Lord Chaitanya's brother, as I was saying, was always in Advaita's association and was a pure devotee of the Lord. He decided, when he heard that Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi were talking about getting him married, he said, I don't want to get married, I'm going to take sannyas. And he left. He left for sannyas. And then Jagannath Mishra, in separation from Vishwarup, he left his body. So it was just Sachi Mata and Lord Chaitanya left. And Sachi blamed Advaita. In her mind, she was thinking, because of that Advaita, my son left. And because my son left, my husband died. He said, he is not Advaita, he's Dvaita. He is crooked because he took my son away. This is a Leela. Achimata is a pure devotee. She wouldn't really think like this, but Lord Chaitanya, I think, like this is Lord Chaitanya's way of showing how wonderful, how much dear, how careful we need to be. Because when Sachimata, one time Lord Chaitanya was giving like prema just out, chanting, and he just prema everywhere. They said, give to Sachi, and he said, no, I will not give to Sachi. Why? She's your mother. She's an ocean of love. And you have bhakti because of her. He says, yes, but she offended Advaita. Because not only did she say it in her mind, she started speaking out to her friends. So this is the problem with criticizing and finding fault with others in our mind. That if we're not careful, it begins to rot our mouth. Because in Kali Yuga, we don't get the reaction of our mind thoughts. Not so much. You don't get judged for that. But it's what we speak and how we act. So she started speaking. And so when she heard that, she said, oh, I bet I got to beg forgiveness from Advaita Acharya. So she came to Advaita and begged, and he said, no, no. And she wanted to touch his feet. No, no, no. You can't touch my feet. No, no, there's no offense. There's no offense. Somehow, I don't remember exactly how, but Advaita somehow or other, he fell unconscious, I think during the kirtan or something. And she took the opportunity and took his feet and placed the dust on her head. And then she became ecstatic and she fell unconscious like that. So Advaita Acharya is powerful Acharya and so dear to Lord Chaitanya. After Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So Nityananda Prabhu said, okay, let's go. He started going. And then he said, but Lord Chaitanya will want to see all the devotees in Navadvip before he goes anywhere. So let me set up a trick. So he sent some boys ahead. When the sannyasi asked what is the way to the Jamuna, sent him to the Ganga. So he came and they sent him to the Ganga. And then he sent word to Advaita Acharya, come and come in with a boat and some fresh cloth because Lord Chaitanya is coming. So when Mahaprabhu came to the Ganga, he thought it was the Jamuna and he thought he was in Vrindavan. And then Advaita came on a boat and he said, Advaita, what are you doing here in Vrindavan? How'd you know I was coming? He said, this is Shantipur. This isn't Vrindavan. This is the Ganga. Nityananda tricked me. He said, no. Actually, I think it's the western side is Ganga. Eastern side is Jamuna after the confluence in Prayag, something like that. So actually, it's you're on the Jamuna side. But anyway, everybody is waiting. They want to see you, and so they all went, and they had a wonderful festival of kirtan. Sachi got to cook, and that's where for Lord Chaitanya. That's where she asked Lord Chaitanya not to go to Vrindavan, but to go to Jagannath Puri, so that she could hear about his activities, and the devotees would go every year to see Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. This pastime, this picture is the depiction of one time the devotees came. It might have been this same time. I can't remember when exactly, but Advaita Acharya wanted to cook for Lord Chaitanya. So he started cooking. And Nityananda Prabhu, he when Lord Chaitanya came, he said, "Of so much prasad, you just give me a little bit of rice and a little bit of vegetable, and then that's it." But there was so much prasad. There was cakes and sweets and various different sabjis and so many rices and everything. And Nityananda Prabhu said, he was like, "There's not enough food here to fill my belly even a quarter way. Like, how are you supposed to make us feel satisfied? You're grahasta. You're supposed to satisfy." Wait them to say, "Nityananda, who are you? What? We don't even know what caste you are. Shouldn't even have you in my house. Like, we don't even know who you are or where you've been. Like, you're just like a madman roaming around here and there." Lord, and then at one point he would feed Lord Chaitanya, "Just eat, eat, eat. It's too much. I'm a sannyasi. I can't eat this much." "No, no, no, just eat, just eat." And so Lord Nityananda, they had a very interesting relationship. They were always fighting. Madhavadas Thakur said, "Don't ever take sides, though, because these are transcendental pastimes. Don't think that one is right and one is wrong, or you will be ruined." So we hear and we just relish the rasa of their friendship in a way of bickering and arguing. It's very sweet. I want to do justice, but just see how much potency they have. That one time, Nityananda Prabhu, he started throwing rice around the room. Nityananda Prabhu was an avadut. He would act very mysteriously. And a piece of that rice touched Advaitacharya, and he just started becoming ecstatic. You can see he's lifting his arms and dancing in so much ecstasy because he touched the food remnants of Nityananda Prabhu. When Jagai and Madai were delivered, Haridas Thakur was on Sankirtan he was ordered by Mahaprabhu, "Go with Nityananda and you go to door and preach the message of chanting the holy name." And when they came to Jagai Madai, Nityananda Prabhu was always putting Haridas in difficult situations. He was explaining to Advaita, he's always doing all these things that get me either beaten or we have to run for our lives. And he said that Nityananda is a madman. What do you expect? But anybody who comes in the madman, meaning mad for Krishna Prem, mad with Krishna Prem. So anybody who comes in contact with him will also become mad. So we have the great fortune of having the opportunity for Nityananda temple, in the form of a deity, that we become mad with love for Lord Chaitanya like him. Lord Chaitanya spent so much time with Advaita, few days, many days, and then a few more days after he wanted to leave because of Advaitacharya's love. Just kept him there. And then when every year for Chaturmasya, Advaita would come to Puri, and they would dance, and they would cook, and they would chant. It was always feeding Lord Chaitanya. One time, Lord Chaitanya would take so many people with him whenever he went for an invite for prasad, 4 or 5 sannyasis. And Advaita was like, "I just want to serve Mahaprabhu alone this time." So he started, he said, "Okay, what can we do?" It was just when there was time for Lord Chaitanya to come, big rainstorm came, and everybody who else was coming with Lord Chaitanya was rained out. They could not come with so much rain. Where Lord Chaitanya was, it was just a really light, pleasant drizzle. He came and no one else could come, so he just fed Mahaprabhu. Hearts content. And Mahaprabhu, then afterwards he started speaking the prayers of Lord Indra after he tried to devastate Vrindavan during the Govardhan Puja Lila. And he said, Rita, why are you speaking at Indra's prayers today? He says, I know, because you ordered Indra to come and rain out everybody else because you wanted to serve me on your own. Like that. The Lord Chaitanya, he always knew. And they had so much wonderful exchanges of love in Jagannath Puri. Advaita, I think he was like the lead dancer in in front of one of the carts. So after some time, we heard that he called Lord Chaitanya here, and he also told him it was time to wrap up his Leela. He wrote so Jagadananda Pandit every year would go from Puri to Navadvip. Every year, or maybe just 1 year. 1 year, Jagadananda Pandit would often get mad with Lord Chaitanya out of his love. And well, I think 1 year Lord Chaitanya said you should go and give these things to Sachi Devi, and enliven the devotees in Navadvip. On his way back, Advaitacharya said, I have a message for Lord Chaitanya, you tell him. And he wrote a sonnet. We'll read the sonnet. Advaitacharya, this is from chapter 19 of Antya-lila, right at the end of his Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Advaitacharya had written a sonnet in equivalent language with an import that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand, but others could not. In his sonnet, Advaita Prabhu first offered his obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times into the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he submitted the following statement at his lotus feet. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Further tell him that those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the one who has also become a madman in ecstatic love, has spoken these words. So it's said that the purport is that he called Lord Chaitanya here, and Lord Chaitanya gave the chanting of the holy name. He came to give prem, prema bhakti, and the prem of the love of the residents of Vrindavan. And our petition Chara Kananayo Makalo Samarapa Timino Jarava Sons of Bhakti Shriham. Hari Punata Sundara Titi Kadamba Sanji Pitaha. Hiraya Kandare Suache Vache Sachinandanaha. I garbled it up, but may the son of Sachi Devi, transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, splendid with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in this world, Kali, by his causeless mercy. He has appeared in this world, in this age of Kali, by his causeless mercy, to give what no incarnation has ever given before. Most ecstatic and rare love. Ujvala Rasa are the love of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the love of the gopis. And that through this chanting, simply chanting the holy name, that we become mad, so mad with love for Krishna, that we no longer want rice. We go to the marketplace, we no longer need rice. The rice is no longer in demand. What is in demand? Prem, this Harinam prem, this Braj prem. That is what's in demand. So he's saying that, I've also become a madman due to your association. due to your mercy, I have also become mad, and I've spoken these words. So the acharyas say that he called Lord Chaitanya into this world, and he also told Lord Chaitanya his time, your pastimes can be wrapped up. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says from this time on, Lord Chaitanya's love and separation, in the mood of Srimati Radharani and separation from Krishna, it became uncontrollable. He would just sit in his room in the Gambhira. He wouldn't really go out anymore, from what I understand, if I remember correctly. And he was just absorbed in feelings of separation from Krishna. So in the marketplace, there's storehouses. So it said that he broke open the storehouse of love of God, and he distributed it. And the only cost is our faith. He distributed Braj Prem Bhakti through the chanting of the holy name, and the only price is our faith. He would say things like, I've come to distribute some goods, but nobody wants these goods. So he empowered devotees like Rup and Sanatan, Raghunath Das Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, to compile the literatures that help us understand that love that he was giving. He empowered Lord Nityananda to such a degree that he would wander around Navadvip just giving out this prem, this love. And Advaita Acharya, out of his unlimited mercy, arranged for Lord Chaitanya to come. So we are indebted to Advaita for calling Lord Chaitanya here. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ordered Srila Prabhupada to come to the West and speak the message of Lord Chaitanya to the English-speaking people, it was a big task in his mind. When he decided that he was, ready to do it, he went to Advaita Acharya's house. I think it was in Shantipur, regularly, and he would sit and he would pray. The Pujari one time he said, "Oh, Swami, Miji, you're here and your tears of love in your eyes, and you appear to be begging. Why are you coming?" My Guru Maharaj, he said, gave me an impossible task to preach, to spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya in English language and countries. I'm coming here because Advaita Acharya is the compassionate soul who brought Lord Chaitanya here. And I'm begging his mercy that he empowers me to do something, to follow the instructions of my Guru. We heard this story when Western devotees came to that temple and they met that Pujari. I think they gave him a back to Godhead or something. This is the Swami, and told him the story. We beg at the feet of Advaita Acharya to be instruments of Lord Chaitanya's compassion. He will fulfill the desire. On his appearance day, is it too late? Oh, I'm way over time. Sorry, Prabhu. Advaita Acharya, Prabhu Ki Jai. May he bless us become instruments of Lord Chaitanya's mercy and also taste the nectar which he was tasting in the service of Lord Chaitanya, and awaken that is at least awaken the desire in this life, retain the service of Krishna and Vrindavan, as Lord Chaitanya came to give us. Thank you very much for your for giving me this opportunity to serve you. Jai Advaita Charya Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Bala Nitai
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. I didn't know my video was off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bala Nitai Prabhu. I see how immersed you are in today's nectar for beautifully speaking on today's Srimad Bhagavatam verse 115:41. And it's like double nectar speaking on Advaita Acharya and today's verse. And
Jai Prabhu.
thank you, Prabhu.
All the mercy of Advaita Charya.
Exactly, Prabhu.
Are there any questions or comments that anyone wants to make?
Devotees, does anyone have any reflections, questions, or appreciation for Prabhu's talk today?
We just want to go. It's already over time. Forgive me.
No problem, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much for the beautiful lecture, Prabhu, on both the Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Advaita Acharya appearance.
Hari Hari.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nectar. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hey Krishna Prabhu. Very, very nice lecture. As Vidagdha Madhava Prabhu said, you are totally immersed in it, and we could actually all feel it. Really appreciate for enlightening us on Advaita Acharya's pastimes this
Jai.
morning. Thank you very much.
All glories to Guru Garanga. Simply praying that I could speak something that would please everyone and Advaita Charya. So it's all glories to them. Thank you for appreciating. Anyone else? Want to add anything that I forgot? Jai Sachinandan, I'm sure will give full details today, Sunday feast. So if you can, try not to miss it.
Thank you
Jai.
once again. And first of all, talking about today's words, right? You reminded us how to consciously engage our body, mind, and speech, along with our senses in the service of the Lord. And you brought that message very clearly through scriptural references, through Srila Prabhupada's lecture in 1973 and Srimad Bhagavatam verses on Antilila 2011 and NOI 7. Very wonderful. And you clearly systematically explain the core theme of the verse and how to engage and get ourselves purified in the service of the Lord. And obviously talking about appearance of Sri Advaita Acharya, who is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You did mention about the embodiment of compassion and mercy. And thank you for giving us this double nectar today, Prabhu. Hari Hari Bol.
Advaita Charya Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Jai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Panchakalpatu Vishla Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. There are a few comments in the Mataji's dropped. Vijay Mataji appreciated for the beautiful class and on the lessons from Srila Prabhupada and Advaita Acharya pastimes. Anita Mataji said, beautiful class. We're talking about Advaita Acharya's wonderful enchanting pastimes. Really relished them so much. Unfortunately, I need to leave. Jai Nitai Prabhu said, beautiful class, Prabhuji, wonderful relishment of Sri Advaita Acharya's pastimes. Thank you so much. Hari Hari Bol. His Grace Bala Nitai Prabhu Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gurudev Ki Jai, Hare Sham, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Gauranga.